Hello, in this tutorial, and to follow on from the initial tutorial of getting started with the Lightning Conductor, we're going to concentrate a little bit more on tasks. The first thing we're going to do is go through to the previous view that we created on tasks. And notice that we can see all of the different tasks grouped by the task status, so we can see whether they're completed, deferred, in progress and not started, and so on. One of the things we might want to do is just change the grouping so that we can see it not just by task status but also by task priority. So notice if we go to the columns tab, there is a task priority column that we could have gone and added. So as we scroll down, we can choose the priority column as well. We can also see predecessor tasks, which makes another good one to group by in a similar fashion. When we go to the display tab, I just want to point out that you can also group by multiple columns. So if we choose the task priority as well, once again, we don't need to display that. We can uncheck it and we'll click on to save. So now we are able to group by more than one column, and you'll notice that we've got the completed tasks, deferred, in progress, not started, and then we can see the high priority task or the normal tasks inside there. Another thing we might decide to do is display those tasks in a timeline view. So since SharePoint 2013, all task lists have a timeline view as well. So we could go through and create a new view, and we'll call that view tasks timeline. We'll keep this on the object model Rollup engine provider, but we're going to change the display provider to JSON. So we'll select that, and on the data source tab, again, we'll choose the current site collection. We'll choose the list type as tasks, and on the columns tab, there's actually no need to do anything on here. These columns are already selected inside the JSON. However, if you wanted to select them so that you could apply some filtering or something to that effect, then you can go through and do that. On the display tab has a number of different JavaScript files that we can select from, and one of them there is the Lightning Tools timeline.js. And you can, if you want to, go ahead and preview what that content or what that JavaScript looks like, and you can feel free to copy that from here and refine it to your own requirements. So we'll select that and we'll click on to save, and notice now that we have the timeline view on that task list as well. Now, one other type of view that we might want to create is the same tasks inside a calendar view. So the calendar view can be displayed for tasks as well as calendar lists. So we'll call this calendar, and once again I'm just going to simply change the display provider, this time to XSLT, and we'll go to the data source tab and we'll set it to the current site collection, and we'll choose tasks as our list type. Once more, no need to select any of the columns. You can select them and make changes to sorting and so on. And then on the display tab, we have a number of different XSLT views that we can select. We have a calendar view as well as announcements, posts, and so on. So if we select the calendar and hit save, we now have our tasks, rather than just showing inside a calendar, in a grid view, we also have them showing in a calendar view as well, with day, week, month, and so on. So we can see the tasks from there and have a better idea as to when they're taking place. One other thing we might want to do is create a quick calculation inside the grid view. So we can create a calculated column, and what I'm going to do there is to basically go through and select configure view again, and on the columns tab we can add a calculated column, and we could call this date range, specify the date or the data type that we want to return, which in this case will be an integer, And what we can do in here is basically select the columns such as the due date and take away from that the start date. And then we need to divide that based on the fact that it's going to return milliseconds, so we need to figure out how many seconds are in the day and save that, and that will give us a calculated column that we can go through and display the date range to see how many days we've got to perform each task. Okay, I hope that you found that useful, and please check out the other tutorials on working with calendar, lists, and also documents and performance as well.